Everything I said in that first episode of Table Talk, you can just throw that out the window because this is a beautiful way to read a rule book on a nice sunny day. Birds are chirping, neighbor's dog sometimes barks, and you do have to worry about the birds flying overhead and dropping a package, so it's not perfect, but it's a nice alternative. And we're finally having some nice weather where I live, so I thought I would record this episode outside. Listen, we had just a wonderful response to that first Table Talk episode. Many of you took the time to write a comment response. I want to assure you, I read every single one of them. I recognize with this segment, unlike all the other ones that we do, this is not one I can really take the time to respond to everyone. But I wanted to have some way to respond to you. So I thought I would do maybe a Table Talk episode and then a Table Talk response episode, a talkback episode, where I cherry-pick some of the responses I got, share them back with you guys, and then sort of give my reaction to them as well. And I also wanted to mention, I was recently a guest on the Secret Cabal Gaming podcast, episode 41. We talked about this very issue there, as well as a whole bunch of other things. So that's something you might want to check out. So, here's one of the comments that we received from Ben Emerson. He said that he likes to identify the objective of the game. And I 100% agree. This is something I want to find out very early on in the rule book. Tell me what it is I'm trying to do, because it gives me a focus for all the other rules that I'm going to read about and why I'm doing them. So that's a great starting point. Gabriel Conolito, he says that after getting a game and learning it, part of his ritual is to return it to the box and sort everything into baggies and other containers. I feel like this is almost a great other topic. How do you like to store your games, and how do you like to organize things inside of your game boxes? Because that's what I do too, actually. After I've opened up a box and I usually get the pieces out and learn it, I almost immediately start bagging it up and figuring out how I'm going to sort all those things into the box if it doesn't have a good insert. J Ward 1465 says, read the rules, play, and then read again. I thought that was interesting because I've done that too. You read the rules, you play, you go back and read a second time. Now, because you have a good sense of the story of the rules from start to finish, then when you read it back again, things that maybe didn't click right away do, because now you understand the context of how everything works. Grifter Alpha says, games that come with a solo option can be good for learning. So true, right? If you have a solo game, that's a great way to learn, because you can sort of test all of the mechanics of the game without having to fake anything. Sometimes when you do something alone, you're playing by yourself and it's really meant for 2 or more players, and you have to fake like bidding on things. It doesn't really work. It kind of falls apart a little bit. So a solo game is excellent. It really solves that. And Stasia Doster says it can be good for bedtime reading. A little something to do before you go to sleep at night. Cole Fisher says rulebooks are great for long train rides, and I agree. I used to commute to work on a bus, and so there'd be like 45 minutes that I could either listen to music or watch a movie or something. But once I started gaming, that was a great opportunity to read rulebooks. Of course, I usually ended up like this on the person beside me by the end of the trip, but still, it's a good place to fit in some rules learning. Megan Bird and Reasonable Cheese both indicate that they like to learn with others, and Megan says that she likes to learn with her primary gaming partner, her husband. Honestly, I don't like learning games with other people, usually because the people I'm trying to learn with would be less patient than I am. So they'd be wanting to skip ahead, let's get into the game, and so I feel like I'm being rushed, so I'm not learning it as well. And then I'm probably not going to be able to teach it as well either. But if you've got a gaming partner, especially someone who lives in your household, who learns at the same pace you do and has lots of patience, then that's actually a really great way to learn, because you have an extra pair of eyes, someone else to help you figure out what certain things mean and catch the mistakes when they happen. Arjun Nair says he likes to watch a video primer first, then the rule book, gives that a read through, and then that helps click with what he saw visually. So by watching a video first and sort of seeing all the concepts laid out visually, then when he's reading the rule book, maybe to find some of those details that maybe were not in the video, everything already makes sense because he can see it in his mind, which I think is pretty neat. Gregory Decateau says, you don't know what you know until you've tried to teach it to someone else. That is so true. Then you figure out where the gaps are in your understanding and what's going to trip other people up. That's so true. When I think I know a game, I'll try to teach it to Luke or Andrea or someone in my gaming group, and that's where I'll discover, oh, I don't really know this, because they'll ask a question, and I'll realize I don't know the answer to that yet. And sometimes that's the rulebook's fault, or sometimes it's just I thought I read it thoroughly, but maybe I skimmed over something that was really, really essential. So that's an excellent way to test what you really know. Nick Cyan Frogna, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, play an open game the first time with everything revealed so people know what they're doing and you can clarify things. I thought this was a really great tip. If you got a group that's comfortable with this, everyone sits down, and if you have hidden information, like maybe you have a hand of cards, don't hide it. Everyone plays with their cards face up. It's not a real game. You're not going to be awarding prizes or trophies here. Just everyone chill out. Let's learn it together. Let's talk over the things that we don't understand and maybe even talk about some of the strategies. So that's an interesting approach. Benedictus says, any way is fine for him. It's just important to learn it, not how. Well, sir, I have a challenge for you then. Learn your next game standing upside down on your head while listening to heavy metal music. Let me know how that goes. And Adam Rand Daniels wraps up here. He says, I enjoyed your video, but I tremendously enjoyed the comments from people in this community. And Adam, you echo my sentiments exactly. It was such a pleasure to read other people's comments. I hope you enjoyed hearing some of these back as well. And you know what else we got? Video responses. I didn't think we'd get any, and we got some, and they were fantastic. So I'm going to close out this episode just showing you a few clips from the video responses we got. Thank you guys so much for participating in this with me. We're definitely doing another one of these videos real soon. But until then, thanks for watching.
Oh, hi Rodney Smith, how you doing? Hello gaming world, it's Barry Doublet here. You asked the question, Rodney, how do you prefer to learn games? Me personally,
I won't even purchase a game unless I know a lot about it and know that I'm going to enjoy it. So a lot of times I already kind of know how to play a game by the time it gets to my table.
I'm definitely one of those people who just has to have it explained to me. I can learn it from the rule book, but it just takes me a lot longer. I've got to read through it several times, and it's a lot simpler if I could just have someone lay it out and show me how the turn works and explain it to me.
The way I generally like to learn games is from either sitting down with the rule book and popping the game out on the table by myself and playing a couple of turns, or maybe the whole game by myself pretending to be two different people.
Even with all that preparation I did, the first time I played it through by myself and taught it to new people, we still played things wrong. So I had to go back, go through the rules one more time, and then I went ahead and just made some notes to myself about some common issues, some big things to keep in mind, and just little fiddly things that are easy to forget.
so there you have it, Rodney. That's how I like to prefer to, that's how I prefer to okay. So Rodney, there you go. That's how I prefer to learn how to play light games. That's how I like to prefer. That's how I prefer. How do you prefer to learn? That's how I prefer to learn games.
And now a word from our sponsor. Do you need a product to up your anxiety and indirectly keep you focused? Need help with those pesky rulebook fires? Of course you do. Introducing Watch Your Plate Emergency Water. It's crystal clear and delicious with 0 fat and 0 calories. If you're a heavy gamer watching your waistline, this product will have you thinner than a meeple in no time. Ah, gaming. Watch Your Plate Emergency Water is perfect for having around next to your shiny new board game as you're trying to learn it. So the fear of accidentally knocking it over, ruining that shiny new board game, will hone your focus to razor sharp levels. For maximum effect, we recommend a glass with a narrow base. The more top heavy, the better. Act now and you receive 1 bottle of Watch Your Plate Emergency Water for the low price of $4.99. Not enough? Well, you can get a 6-pack of Watch Your Plate Emergency Water for $29.99. If that's on a deal, then I'm Tom Vassell. If you email within the next 30 minutes, we'll even throw in a set of super easy to knock over glasses as a stretch goal. Order today or drop and give me a D20.
Watch Your Plate Emergency Water is not a real product. Please do not email.